Basically, here's a lowdown of what we've seen coming out. So that article that I just, posted earlier, they're saying there is going to be a ripple effect. Some of these areas that have stopped, landlords from being able to collect payment or halted that, those landlords also have, bills they got to pay too. And basically what you're going to start seeing is there's an underlying like credit cycle that's just bubbling up right now. I mean, maybe a landlord could afford, a month or 2 months, right? At the most. That's still going to hurt a lot. Pretty much a year and a half of profit gone, because you got to remember, landlords don't just own everything with cash straight up. They're levered up too. They have payments they need to make too. And then banks rely on that money of profit coming in order to loan out to other ventures of their businesses, right? To expand businesses, let someone home lending. It's all like interconnected. And you know if the SBA fails to see the correlation of this, it's not just the SBA, I'm sorry, the government overall, and even investors fail to see the correlation of everything being connected. And when you punish one thing, you're really punishing all sectors. It's going to be very, detrimental to us, down the road. And it's like, for example, Cheesecake made headlines on their 240 plus locations. They said, hey, we're not paying a single dollar in rent, which is like, okay, because they haven't got revenue. And now you put a landlord in a hard spot because, like, okay, you have Cheesecake and all these properties. If you kick them out, if you could, but if you did, how fast do you think you're going to be able to find someone else to come in and replace them, at that time? I'm sure there'll probably be some legal remedies down the road where, it's like, hey, you still owe us for this rent or partial payment or whatever. But at this point, let's say, God forbid, but this goes on for above 6 months. Do people have 6 months of rent stored? I don't think so. And now we have a better idea. Even if JP Morgan's number is a little bit off, let's say if it's not half, even if it's 25% of small businesses that don't have enough money to survive more than 2 months on cash flow, I mean, you're looking at a huge problem. You're looking at people, and this affects everything, right? Because if you're unemployed, you're not going to make, e-rush. You're not going to buy the new iPhone. You're not going to go buy, the new Xbox that's coming out. There's certain things that you're just looking to survive, right? So that is going to be the aftershock of a slowdown. And then if you have to go through the process to evict and remove, and then we at the same time let people back into the economy, and there's nothing to really spend money on, and you have to start back up. Imagine how much that's going to make everything linger, all the way from your local neighborhood restaurant all the way up to, Wall Street, because, Walmart and Apple and all these big companies are relying on consumers that continue to consume, right? And, honestly, consume in excess. And that might not be the case if this gets as bad. And I'm sure, we might be able to pass more legislation, but you got to think about it. The more and more debt you're tacking on, it's just you're kicking the can down the road for the rest of us, So there is a fair balance. I think there is a huge gain in protecting small business, but, this is why I'm like trying to paint a picture for everybody, which is like, hey, okay, look, if you see a business you really like, you like the deal, you like the numbers, hey, go for it. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just giving my humble opinion here, which is just wait it out more, because I don't think we've seen the full economic impact of what's really going to come now. And it's a little bit scary, but if you're sitting in cash right now, you're just kind of waiting. I mean, there's no rush. Let's see how this thing is going. We still haven't even hit a peak yet of COVID-19. So until then, we don't know, how it goes down. We barely learn information about, that China shared with universities getting back to us now, and they did autopsies, and we're doing our own autopsies now too, to kind of see like, how it works, like how it sits on surfaces, it's on hair, it comes into your throat, it stays in your throat for 3 days, and then it goes to the lung, and it turns into like a mucus disease, which that's why it attacks the respiratory system. So we're still figuring out what the heck this thing is doing, And in the meantime, for the economic side, it's like, we're on the very first, it's like you're in a fight, and then boom, someone just hits you with like a right hook, and you're dazed, and we don't know if an uppercut's coming or if he's going to try to jab or what's going to come next. And if you're stumbling on your feet already, which has kind of happened, you're hoping you can regain consciousness, make a block, and try to throw a punch back. But we're not in a position yet to throw that punch back. We're in that position where we're like, okay, you're not going to pay commercial rents. Some people are talking about not paying mortgages, and it's like, there's a lot of wildness going on until we get stability in our country and it gets opened back up and people, we're opening up the court process and doing stuff again. Everything's up in the air. You can't really truly evaluate anything, and you don't know where most people are going to end up. It probably won't even be till that month end of April that we get a clearer picture of which way, we're probably going. I thought it would be mid-April, but the president's already backed out on that, which I think it was just very optimistical of him to put it in the first place that we were going to be back by Easter. Sorry, I was going to say Thanksgiving, but realistically, I think it probably won't be until maybe even mid-May or late May. So we have to really sit back and see what our time horizon for that section is going to be. So yeah, this is just news I got and just thoughts in my head. So sharing it with you. If you guys like the content, like and obviously share with a friend if you can, and comment if you have any questions or DM me.